Oh,
We're on the air.
we're back.
Yeah, well,
Happy New Year.
isn't that a great shot of the
I
sign?
love
Isn't it?
that.
Yeah.
Plumber Place.
Fills up the whole back.
Yes, it does. It's a place to be.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And into a new year.
Happy 2024.
Yes. Where's the time go?
I don't know. I thought it was just like 2000, right?
Yeah. Well, really, I mean, last year just flew by.
Yeah.
And of course, last year was the first year without COVID
Yes.
as a problem.
Well, less
COVID's
restrictions.
still here, but it wasn't a problem.
Less restrictions, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now it's starting to come back, but we're not getting as precautious.
No, we don't. We don't have to be locked down, so to speak.
Right.
Yeah, we can still go about our business and.
Not that, I know though, I talked to someone, I'm not gonna say, mention names, but a friend of mine is in the hospital, went in
Oh.
for an operation.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to him in the hospital, and he says, well, here's the deal. They put me in a room, and they found out the guy in the room with me has COVID.
Yeah.
So now they're putting me in an isolation room tomorrow and gonna test me. If I got COVID, I
No.
can't go home now for a week.
Oh.
And he was gonna be released today.
Oh, he was. Oh.
So it's a bit of a problem.
It is.
And I went to the doctor Tuesday, and I had to wear a mask.
Some clinics are reinstating the mask
Yeah.
mandate.
He's right here at
Oh, down in
Milford Regional.
at Commerce Drive. Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah, I did hear that there's an uptick of that and the flu and RSV,
yes.
all of those things.
And my doctor is out on sick leave,
Okay.
Dr. Anderson.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah, I like Dr. Anderson, but
Yeah.
I had the nurse practitioner,
Mhm.
young gentleman,
Mhm.
and I thought he did a great job. I told him, I said, that's a real good exam you
Oh,
did.
good.
He was very thorough, and
Great.
I like to go every 6 months.
Yes.
Being diabetic, things can happen.
Well, you want to check your numbers and make sure
Yeah.
that everything is okay.
And,
because-
and diabetes leads to other problems.
Right, because the last time I saw you, you had something going on. Was it your blood pressure?
Yeah,
Yes, okay.
Yes.
So that's been regulated?
that,
and-
yeah, the cardiologist increased my blood pressure medicine.
Okay.
And, but I think what helped, I found these gummies, CBO gummies,
Yeah.
which is made from hemp,
Yep.
but it doesn't have the THC in it.
Okay.
And I take 2 of those a day, and that supposedly lowers your blood pressure.
Okay, good. Does it
And-
relax you too?
Yeah.
Good.
And now I'm hearing from Dr. Oz that it's supposed to lower sugar, so I'm waiting to see what that
Oh,
happens.
watch that, yeah. Good.
Just get hold of all these things happen.
Yeah. Things start to,
But you gotta
Break
stay
down.
active.
that's the key. You gotta keep on going and don't stop. And it's
And-
not just your body, it's your mind too.
Right. This is how we segue into Plumber Place.
This is how we do it.
Because here's a place that can keep you active.
Absolutely.
And you're always looking for volunteers.
Always. Yep.
You get a lot of women. You don't get very many men, do you?
We have a good amount, but you're right. It's the majority are women. But we have such a great pool of volunteers right now. So Amy, as you know, our program
Yes.
and volunteer coordinator, she has probably tripled our volunteer pool. And
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
It's amazing. The only thing that we are looking for right now, and I want to go right to the camera, is we're in desperate need of medical drivers. So if there is anybody that would be interested in helping us out in that area, come talk to me, because we could really use, even if it's 1 day a week. We have this fabulous program where we take people to their medical appointments outside of Northbridge. And it's very rewarding, and you meet some wonderful people, and like I said, it's not a huge commitment, but I'll even take 1 day a week if you
But
have
you want
the
as
time.
many volunteers as possible so that not one person is stuck with doing it all.
Exactly. We don't want burnout of our volunteers.
Right.
We're very cautious of that. We don't try to overload our folks at all. We try to, spread out the labor, so to speak.
Yeah, and the bus can't go out of town.
No.
So you
Right
really,
now, it doesn't. I mean, I don't know. We might have to look at that in the future.
because you really have to take care of these people that need to get out of town for
Yeah, and
Sam.
transportation right now is, oh boy,
There he
we got a
is,
special
okay.
guest.
I'm sorry.
Walk.
I'm late.
Should I roll out the red carpet?
That's beige.
That's big. Do you want me to move over to the middle seat?
No, I'll get sandwiched in between
You want to go
guys.
right there?
Yeah.
Welcome, Russ Swallow.
I saved the world too. I was
Did you?
dealing with multiple phone calls that I had to deal with, and I couldn't handle them while I was driving.
No.
So, and if I didn't do them, the world would come to an end. But I'm
would.
here, so I saved the world.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. I'm so glad.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm gonna live
I
another
was
day.
worried you put Church Street instead of Church Ave.
No, I know it was Church Ave, but I just,
Well, that happens all the time to my guess.
well, no, when I was driving down there, I got on a call from one of my sons who had a bunch of issues he was dealing with. So I'm talking to him and I'm not watching where I'm going.
Oh, yeah.
And then I had to pull over because I got 2 or 3 other calls. But
Oh, wow.
I saved the world, so.
Oh, phew. Well, then we can carry on now.
Yeah, right, exactly.
We had a guest that we were gonna have, but she couldn't make it.
All
Right?
right. Well, she came down with COVID.
Oh, well, I'm
That's
glad
what
she
it was.
couldn't make it.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I'm
she-
not glad, but I'm glad she didn't come here. And
No, she's super. Her name is Carol Potter.
yeah.
She deals or provides these medical alert systems.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, that's what it was.
All
Yeah,
right.
she's awesome. She's been doing this for years.
Okay.
And I had her on my radio show some time ago. And she's speaking to me very seriously. And she's describing this medical alert system, and it's got a fall detector. And I said, explain that. So she said, if you fall, it will know you fell. So she's totally serious. So I said to her, I said, Carol, where were you when Humpty Dumpty needed this? She couldn't stop laughing. Well, and I said, because if Humpty Dumpty had this thing, all the king's horses and all the king's men would have
We could
got
have
there
put it
in
back
time to
together,
put them
right?
to back
Back together again. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're to blame, Carol.
Okay, it's
And
all
she
Carol's fault.
keeps reminding me about that too. So what's going on down here?
Well, I wanted to say that Carol, she'll be here next month.
She's still coughing and hacking. She said she wants to do 2 things next month. She wants to be here and she wants to be on my radio show. But she says, but she's coughing and hacking. She says, yes, I want to do both, but I'll let you know more in a week or two.
Oh, she's got a whole month.
Yeah, she's got time.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's a
good.
long month.
I'll look forward to meeting her.
yeah.
Yeah.
She's old.
Is she?
Well, she's a year younger than me.
Oh, she's that old. Okay.
Yeah,
Happy New Year, Russ.
yeah, Happy New Year.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's 2024.
it is.
Where did the time go?
You don't have to worry about it. It just happens.
Yeah, it does.
You don't have to watch it. You
Well,
don't have to tend it. It just
When
happens.
you look ahead, it seems like forever.
Yeah.
But when you look back, where the hell did it go?
You blinked and it's gone
Yeah.
in a flash like that.
Yep, very much so.
But it happens.
It does happen.
You know, we're cold right now, but in 3 months, we'll be into spring.
I hope.
I just want to get to March because we go to Aruba in March.
Ah,
I mean, the most boring weather on the planet. It's 87 degrees every day. At night it plunges down to 76. And sometimes it'll rain for 5 minutes on the other side of the building. Place is user-friendly. Everybody speaks English. The kids, when they graduate from grammar school, speak 4 languages: English, Spanish, Dutch, and Papiamento, which is the local dialect down there.
that's amazing.
Oh, yeah, but it's so user-friendly. I mean, the whole island is based on tourism.
Right.
And the main currency down there is the U.S. dollar.
That's true.
Because the main tourists are U.S. tourists.
Yeah, right. So we love it there. We like to go a lot of places, but that's kind of the place we nailed down for our vacation
The annual
home.
trip, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
But I was going to take a lot more trips, and but Monday night a bad thing happened.
Uh-oh.
Some
you didn't.
some guy in Michigan won $844 million.
I was gonna say you
I
didn't
know,
win. I know.
Yeah.
I'm so sad.
And
for
he
you.
didn't give you the Powerball number.
No, he had them.
No,
He
and
didn't share.
I had that money already allocated. I already knew what I was going to do with it. And then he messed up my whole week.
Did. He rained on your parade.
Yeah, and a while
it.
back there, a couple of months ago, some idiot in Maine won $1 billion,
Mm-hmm.
700 million.
Mm-hmm.
No, well, you're not gonna get that.
Yeah.
By the time the government gets done, you probably get 50% of it.
Well, you're down a lousy 500 million. you know.
Right.
Yeah, you could do something with it.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah, think about it. Two people get rich, the individual and the government.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
And, I buy these Powerball and Mega Millions tickets at a liquor store. And you go in there, and there's all these scratch tickets up on the wall. Somebody will come in and say, give me an 18, a 29, a 37, a 46. There's all these different things. And then I also found out lately that, well, not really lately, I found out they have one scratch ticket that sells for $50.
Yeah, the big
Right.
one.
Yeah, it sells for $50. And I came up with a deal. If anybody wants a guaranteed winner with the $50, I'll guarantee it to them. Give me the 50. Whoa. Give me the 50, and tomorrow night tomorrow I'll pay you $25.
Yeah, you're right.
You got a winner.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
And it's that's the same odds you get when you buy these tickets from the state.
Right.
But I guarantee a winner every day. Just give me 50, I'll give you 25 tomorrow. I haven't had many takers.
No?
And the problem is when I ask people do you have the Powerball numbers or Mega Millions, I say, but listen, don't call me tomorrow morning and say last night the numbers
Yeah,
were.
right. It doesn't count.
That doesn't work.
No.
So I've been going crazy this week. I get all the toughies when folks with issues about Medicare. When I'm talking about Medicare, people have to understand we kind of divide that world into two categories. One is what's called Medicare Advantage. It's either an HMO or a PPO. It includes the original Medicare Parts A and B, and also includes prescription drugs. And a lot of them have got a zero premium. You're supposed to say, why do they have a zero premium?
Russ, why do they have a zero
Okay.
premium?
All right.
Okay, I'll play along.
Well, you got to understand, if you're working, 1.45% of your income goes to Medicare.
right.
The employer matches that. That's 2.9%. I don't understand 2.9%, but I understand 3%.
Yeah,
So
Right.
3%
Right.
of all the payrolls in the country go to Medicare. All right? And that pays for Part A, which is hospital. That's why it's free.
Right.
Everybody's throwing money into that pool.
well, don't you also pay on your social security?
Well, that has to be for Part B, which are physicians and outpatient costs.
Oh, okay.
All right, that's a monthly premium everyone pays. It starts out in 2024 at $175 a month.
Yes,
Well, if you want to be precise, $174.70. So $175 a month, and that pays for your doctors and your outpatient cost.
right.
And if you stayed with that and you didn't enhance it with any of the supplemental type plans, you would have to pay 20% of all the doctor costs and all the outpatient costs. So people buy the Medicare Advantage plan. Now, the reason why those are free, because I didn't finish that story, Medicare has all this money coming in for Part A, all the payrolls, and then all the Part B. And let's say I'm Medicare. I'm sitting around. I say, hey, this is a great deal. I got all this money coming in. And then my CPA says, hey, Russ, you got a little liability there. So I got to pay out all these claims. So what I want to do is get rid of that liability. So I go out to a private insurance company, you know, an Aetna, Blue Cross, United Healthcare, all of them, and I pay them a subsidy to take over all my liability.
Right.
And I pay them $1,000 a month, or they pay $1,000 a month for all the people they insure, or I pay them. And then they use that money to take care of the insurance costs. Now, their actuaries will say, all right, out of the $1,000, we got to spend so much on claims. We got to put so much into reserves for future claims. And then if they have some leftover money, they can give you some free stuff. Dental, vision, hearing, or, you know, membership in a health club. So on that side of the ledger, all the different companies have different copays, different deductibles. Some will give you more stuff, some will give you less stuff. And that's what people are usually dealing with, because I get a lot of calls from people that are just turning 65 wanting to know about Medicare. And I said, why don't you read your mail?
Yeah,
And you're getting a lot of it.
Yeah. And what
Or
happens
worse.
is the same companies keep sending you the same
Yeah.
stuff over and over again. And you end up with a pile like that
yep,
because you're going to get rid of it. You got to it tomorrow. And they say, what should you do with the pile? I say, throw it away because it's going to build up again the next day.
it's right.
Okay, now the other side of the coin is a plan that's called Medigap. Okay? And all the plans called Medigap, to be technically precise, in Massachusetts, it's called Medicare Supplement. All of these plans, all the companies, the benefits are exactly the same because they're mandated by Medicare. And the only deductible you have in one of the plans that I advise people to take is they've got one $240 annual deductible for doctors and outpatients. Everything else is covered 100%. But you got to pay for that.
Oh, okay.
And you got to pay, you know, $175, $200 a month for that. Plus you need a separate drug plan. Because over on the other side, you've got A and B and drugs. Over here, you got to have a separate drug plan. So that's really the issue. Now, my wife has a zero premium plan over here. How did it get to be a zero premium? Well, your Part Bs are paying for that, and all your Part As. And she is disgustingly healthy.
Right. She's the people that they want.
Hi, Linda. That's why they're making money hand over fist, why they keep trying to sell you the same thing. She's in an HMO. Somebody might call this narrow network. But we live at one end of the lake,
Right.
and UMass Memorial is at the other end of the lake, and all of her doctors are there. So you can call it a narrow network. She doesn't care. All of her doctors are there.
Right. She doesn't have far to go.
No,
Right.
it's a short commute.
Now, I, on the other hand, am a user. You don't want my health history.
Pages,
I don't want it either.
chapters,
Yeah.
volumes.
So I could still have her zero premium plan. But I see several specialists in the year, and those would be $45 or $50 for a copay. And these specialists are nosy people. They want me to have all kinds of tests. They want me to have echo EKGs, duplex artery scans, MRIs, all of this stuff. So if I had the zero premium plan, and I say, what am I paying out for all this other stuff? Over the course of a year, that other stuff might average around $200 a month. So since I figure I'm going to spend $200 a month, why don't I get the Medigap plan, where all I have to do is hand them the Medicare card,
Right.
okay?
Mm-hmm.
The hospital, the doctor, whatever, bills Medicare,
Mm-hmm.
all right? Medicare pays its share. Medicare knows that I have this Medigap plan. They send the balance to my insurer and they pay it. And it's, here's the card. In fact, I'm on their computer. I don't even need the card. So now,
Yeah, once you get established, they have all the information.
yeah. Now I want to speak to somebody this month that's turning 65 in March, in great health. The doctors are covered 100%, and they take few meds. Those are kind of a slam dunk.
Yes.
And I don't charge, I meet people in their home office or one of my many offices. Well, they are. I pay $12 a month to rent office space at every Panera Bread in the state.
That's a good rent.
Yeah, and then I get
Free coffee.
free coffee and free lemonade. And some naysayer is going to say to me, "Don't you have their unlimited sip club?" And I say, "Well, yeah. Listen, my story sounds better.
Right.
Where else can you rent office space for $12 a month?"
True. Yeah.
So I do workshops and seminars. I have a workshop coming up on the 17th at the Shrewsbury Public Library from 7 to 8 p.m. Folks need to register if they would like to register for that. Google Shrewsbury Public Library. Their page will come up.
And you don't have to be a Shrewsbury resident.
No, you don't.
Open to anybody.
No.
Okay.
And then you hit events. Then after that you hit adult events. Then their whole January schedule pops up. So then you just go down to the 17th and click register.
Yeah.
And then you're registered.
You're in.
Yeah. I do them in companies. But what I do with this, I have a slideshow. It's a PowerPoint slideshow that goes right through the whole Megillah. And if I'm meeting an individual in their home office or one of my offices, I use the same slideshow on a laptop or an iPad so they get the same thing. Now, another thing that's going on is all of my business comes from referrals. I work 24/7 between my left ear and my right ear.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of the week I might work 25 hours. But right now it's spread out all over the week. And what I want to do is compress it into Thursday, Friday, and Saturdays for couples.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I have a software plan that I have called Calendly. If you know how to spell calendar, you get rid of the AR, and then you plug in LY, Calendly. So let's say, Harry, you wanted to meet with me to talk about Medicare, and you say, "Hey, Russ, can you meet me next Thursday afternoon or Friday anytime during the day?" And I say, "Can't do that, but I can do either next Tuesday or Wednesday in the afternoon." And you come back and say, "Well, how about this?" So what we're essentially doing is we're playing ping pong.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I don't want to play ping pong. So what happens now with Calendly, we want to meet. I say, "Okay, Harry, I'll send you a link. The calendar will pop up on the days and times that I'm available." Now, I've had it for 3 months and I haven't done anything with it yet.
But it sounds lovely.
Oh, it's a great story like my rent. So, when I'm one of those people that you buy software, you get on a disk, you put it into the tower if you got a, PC or whatever, and it comes up on the screen. And how the hell do you use it? It comes with directions, but you don't read the directions. So I'm going to be doing the same thing with Calendly. But that's what I do.
Well, that's a goal for the new year.
Yeah, right, exactly. Now, the big thing that has come about with a guest I had yesterday on the radio show, who's probably the best speaker I've ever had on the program. And we were talking about afterwards about the need for what I do because there's a personal element to it. There's a human interaction. For example, I get a call from a guy from a large college in Boston. Actually, it's in Cambridge. And it's not MIT. So
We got that narrowed down quite a bit.
it's not MIT. And this guy is retiring in March. And he has all kinds of questions about Medicare. And he has an interesting title, Senior Human Resource Consultant in their HR department.
Oh.
So I said to him, Bob, I said, I've been on your website, your blank university that's right around a square in Cambridge has got all the information one would ever need on Medicare.
Mm-hmm.
They even give you a choice of one HMO PPO type plan and one Medigap plan.
Mm-hmm.
So he talks to everyone else in there, and they don't know what to do. So they say, call our EAP. An EAP is an employer assistance program. They're usually set up to deal with, me, I'm getting divorced, I want to kill myself, I'm going bankrupt, I don't know how to handle those things.
Right.
So you call an EAP and they walk you out of the forest. So he calls their EAP, which is the largest one in Massachusetts that has all these large. Well, I'm also trying to get into a college near Fenway Park.
Oh, okay.
I won't say that Harry Aganis was a great football player there. And another one that, what was the guy he threw the Hail Mary past, another school like that.
Mm-hmm.
But the challenge is with Medicare, these large employers, including universities, they put all the information out there. Well, you can get this information anywhere. You can Google it till the cows come
Right.
home
Sure.
Right.
and everything there.
Yeah.
But no one shows them how to use it. And their insurance broker for the large business doesn't handle individual Medicare.
Mm-hmm.
They want the group stuff where they make a ton of money.
Right.
And they don't want to mess around, with individual Medicare. So they give them all the information. So I'm trying to get into I'm also getting referrals from a university in Worcester. I can't say they're out on Salisbury Street because that would give the name of it away.
It might.
So I get referrals from them. But all these others, the HR mindset is, okay, we manage all their benefits, the group health, life, disability, all of that stuff. And we get all this information for them on the internet, on the website. But no one, it takes a human being sitting down with them.
Right.
To tailor
And-
it. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I was just explaining some of the things here with you folks. So I explained how a Medigap plan works. So you don't have this knowledge, okay? So anything new comes up, you're building it on top of your existing knowledge
Right.
and trying to weigh it one way or the other. What does this thing mean? So you can't do that just looking at the stuff on a website. You have to have an ongoing conversation between two people. Now, I get the tough stuff. I mean, I want the slam dunks. But I'm working on a case now where a guy is coming off his group health plan.
Mhm.
He sees 2 doctors or 3 doctors. So when I'm trying to find a plan that fits a person, I want a list of their doctors to see if they're covered by these
The
different
networks,
insurance
yeah,
companies,
Right.
and a list of the medications. So the first pass I go through, he gives me 2 doctors. So the medical group the doctors belong to, there's 10 Medicare Advantage plans in Massachusetts, or companies. Okay. But this medical clinic, this group only takes 3 of them. All right?
Uh-huh.
So now I only work with 3, and what I do from then on, I go to Medicare.gov. I get a list of all the meds. I load them in there, and they'll print me out all the plans from the lowest cost to the highest cost, and they vary quite a bit. So when I plug this stuff in to Medicare.gov with these 3 insurers that the medical clinic will only take, I forget the numbers. I had a copy of them here. Oh, also when he's with his group health plan, he's used to, covers everything. I got different co-pays for different drugs. So he's maybe spending about $100 a month on all of his drugs. He's got a bunch of them. So then I look up on the Medicare.gov website, and come on, Swallow, where is it? Do I have it here? Yeah. Insurer number 1 says it's going to cost him $14,600 a year.
That's a lot of money.
It's a little more than $100 a month.
Yeah.
And the second one says they're going to charge him $14,800. And the third one says it's going to be $14,900. So let's call it $15,000. But nobody wants to change their physicians.
Oh, right.
And what I tell some folks, I said, okay, I know Harry's your doctor, but okay, you get up tomorrow morning and you found out there's an accident. Harry got wiped out in a car crash. Are you going to stop seeing doctors because Harry's gone?
Right.
No, you're
Right.
going to find
You're
another
gonna find
doctor.
Yeah, you have no choice.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So then I look at the list of drugs. There's about 8 of them. And one of them is a diabetes drug, a stage 2 diabetes drug. That developed in later life. And that particular drug, the name of that drug was Mounjaro, Mounjaro. Now, when I look at these 3 companies, if we didn't have Mounjaro on there, the price would be about $100 a month. And that's because all these insurance companies have a formulary, and that shows which drugs they cover. Unlike a commercial plan, Medicare drug companies do not have to cover every med. They need to cover at least 2 meds in every category.
Oh.
And there are other meds that are less expensive But you got to realize what this individual is going through. He's chugging along. He understands how his group health plan works. He knows his meds are going to cost $100 a month. So Russ says they're going to cost you $15,000. You lose some credibility.
Right.
So the way I have to do it, first of all, you guys know this Medicare stuff is very complicated. You know, what I say is, I speak Medicare so you won't have to.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's other sources that might do the same thing I do, but my long suit, or I believe my long suit, is I follow a saying that was attributed to Albert Einstein, and he said, if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. So how do I explain this? It's not $100 a month, it's $15,000 a year in a way that he
Right.
can understand it.
Right.
So I start out, how do you know these are the only doctors that, these are the only insurers that my medical group takes? I pull out a letter that went out to all the members of that medical group in October saying in 2024, for primary care physicians, we only take Insurer 1, Insurance 2, and Insurancer 3. If you've got specialists, they'll take about all of them. So why do they do that? Well, every time you hear about somebody trying to find a new doctor, particularly a primary care physician, they ain't none.
Right,
Well,
big shortage.
it's hard to get one.
Right.
So now, because of that situation, his PCP is with that group. He doesn't want to leave them. So then I show them step by step, and what I do is I go to the Medicare.gov and I print out a PDF of each one of those insurance companies so he can see exactly what they're charging. So then I say, okay, I'm not a doctor. I can't advise you anything, but I would say, why don't you go to your primary care physician and ask them if there's another drug other than this Monjaro? And I guarantee you there is. But if there isn't, well, there's another large insurer that doesn't, on that list of 3 that his medical group takes, that includes it in their formulary.
Right.
So now you're going to have to pay a little bit more over, but you're going to have to leave your doctor. I mean,
Right.
the guy's up against the wall trying to figure this
You're
out.
all over the place, yeah.
So,
But as an individual, it's almost impossible for them to do.
yeah. So
You know your way around.
So anyway, the thought is that he consult with his physician to see if there's another drug in that category that could work just as well. The other thing that could happen is that he could ask for an exception by the insurance company, and there's a couple of hurdles there to overcome. If you're not already already insured, it's hard to get them to make an exception on the fact that you might do something. And an exception is not a slam dunk. The insurer has to work with the person's physician.
Right.
And they have different steps to take to prove that you have to be on that drug, and then they might do it. But they're not going to do it in a short period of time. It takes a while. So I hope the doctor says, okay, instead of drug M, you can use drug K, and then I'll rerun the cost of the other meds along with that, and that's what he has. So, I mean, the toughest thing is try to explain it to somebody simply so they understand.
Right.
It's not Russ just making up these things to
But
To
this
make
is
money.
what a lot of people don't realize. Medicare is an individual situation
yeah,
based on your health.
yeah. Well, not so in Massachusetts. Your health will determine what doctors you might be seeing or what medications you're
but
taking.
That's where if you get a supplemental insurance, you gotta make sure they cover the people you need to see.
Yeah, if they're in network or out of
Right,
network.
that's where you come in. That's why
Yeah.
people need to talk to you.
Yeah,
And, you know, we hear all the advertising from October through December, because that national is the only time you can actually change.
not so this year.
But, oh, they changed that.
The
Well,
rules keep changing.
I know Massachusetts, you can change anytime, right?
well, you have to understand what your type of insurance. The annual election period is October 15th to December 7th.
Right,
You can change any plan you want to then. All right? But if you have the Medicare Advantage plan, which is the HMO PPO type, you have a Medicare Advantage open enrollment period between January and the end of March. So
Oh.
you could switch a plan then. Okay, now let's get over to Medigap. You can change the Medigap plan anytime you want. However, the drug plan you can only change from October 15th to December 7th. Pretty simple with all of this, isn't it?
There you
but that's why
go.
you need an expert like yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
Then another one I just finished working on. It was interesting. Husband and wife, they're both 66, 67, 68. They have a disabled daughter, but let's go through them first. So none of them, they don't want to change their doctors at all. So there's only one insurer that has her physician in network, her PCP,
Mhm.
which is great. But then there's two others on there that are not in that same insurance company's network when you check it online. So then you have to go back to the insurance company and ask them to check, are these covered in network? So we went round and round, finally we got them covered. But daughter's a different story. She's 38 years old.
Well, she's on Medicaid, right?
Yeah, but it was further complicated. She initially was on Medicare Part A and Part B, but then they changed this group health plan, which had better benefits than the Part B. So she disenrolled in Part B. Now she's got to re-enroll in Part B. Okay,
Oh boy. Yeah.
but she takes. So I have a son. I have two sons. One is 50. The other is 48. 50 is okay. The 48 is a good person with a rotten illness. He has schizophrenia.
Mm-hmm.
He has a program called One Care, and it combines Medicare and Mass Health, which is Medicaid,
Right.
Right.
and he has virtually 100% coverage. So I'm talking to this couple now about their daughter, and they thought that One Care program was a great program.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, but you got to use their doctors. That's it, no. And I don't blame them.
Right.
This poor gal she has multiple issues, and she has she has 8 specialists,
Oh wow.
Wow.
okay, plus a primary care physician, all right? She's moving along fairly well right now, but the thing is, they don't want to change doctors. They don't want to have to reinvent the
Right.
wheel all over again with all of these
They're
issues and
Right.
so
I mean,
forth.
the doctor you have knows you and knows your situation.
Right. So now I say, okay, you got Medicare. But I don't get all this info in the beginning. I got to kind of pull it out of them. And then I find out that, I say, how much does she make? What if she's on Social Security disability?
Mm-hmm.
It's $1,000 a month. So I said, okay, she's going to have Medicare. And call Mass Health and see if the $1,000 a month will qualify her for a program called Mass Health Standard. So they finally get that going. Then they get back to me, yes, you got Mass Health Standard. I said, okay. If you have Medicare and Mass Health Standard, Mass Health Standard has another program called Mass Health Buy-In. And what is Mass Health buy-in? I'm glad you asked that question. Okay, the Mass Health buy-in, if you qualify for that, they'll pay her Part B, the $175 a month. And that automatically qualifies her for a Medicare plan called LIS, Low Income Subsidy, or Extra Help.
Oh,
So now, all the expenses go away, and she's got one drug. The retail price is like $2,800 a month.
Wow.
oh, that'll
But
break the bank.
well, not now with these folks. When she's with that Mass Health buy-in, and income-wise and so forth and so on, she gets generic drugs for $1 a month, and she gets brand-name drugs, including the $2,800 drug, for $4 a month.
Nice.
Oh, whoa.
So,
But you gotta know about what program to get into.
Right.
yeah,
And making
and
sure you have all the components.
yeah,
And here again,
qualify.
that's where you come in, Russ.
yeah, and I'm still a new kid on the block with them because they, how much do they want to give this guy? How do I make money? Well, I tell everybody, give me the winning numbers to Powerball, I'll take care of you for life.
In addition to that,
In addition to that, here's what happens. First of all, I don't really have to work. But I like what I'm doing,
Right.
I'm good at it, and I'm going to keep on doing it. Look at the kids I grew up with. They're all kind of, couch potatoes, and they're not doing nothing. They're waiting to die.
Yeah. And
I
the
don't
health
want-
is
I
going
don't-
down the drain.
Yeah, I don't want to.
no.
I want to live until I die. So I've got this stuff that I do. I like doing it because what I do is sort of a quasi-public health experience or endeavor, whatever you want to call it. But if I enroll somebody in a plan, then I get paid by the insurance company.
Nice.
Right.
And if I don't enroll anybody in a plan, I want to part as friends.
Yep.
Because when they're talking to other people asking about Medicare, they can say, I got a guy.
Yes.
Right.
And that guy is this guy right here.
Yep.
That's right.
So that's kind of how I do business.
I like it.
I got to, everybody I sent you to has
Yeah.
been thrilled.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
agree.
I've not anyone found that they didn't want to use you because they said you were excellent. And when you get into Medicare, you really don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, but I cheat. I soften them up a little bit with, I really want Powerball. And
Right. But the average person, when they start on Medicare, they don't know where they are. They don't know what they're doing. They give you that big book, but who the hell can figure that thing out?
No.
well, all the answers are in that book.
Yeah.
Why do you
Yeah.
go to it? It's
Yeah.
just like the large corporations that have all this information.
Right.
Who shows them where the rubber meets the road as to how to do this?
Right.
And
Right.
that's what I do.
True.
Right. And the thing is, it don't cost the individual a penny.
No, it's costing them the same that it would be anywhere else.
Right.
And
But you might end up saving people too from
Oh, he does.
oh yeah,
not spending what they would spend on a
Take
plan
somebody
that's
60
not right for them.
take somebody 65 that has a health plan. They're paying $700-800 a month. If they're employed, they're probably paying half of that.
Right.
And the coverage they have. See, I was a group health insurance and benefits broker for a long time before I did this. And the people that have an employer plan or whatever, the gross cost might be $700-800 a month, and the premiums go up every year, and the coverage goes up every year because the deductible goes up. So if you're paying, let's say you're paying half of the $700, you're paying $350 a month for the individual plan. You multiply that by 2 or 3, whether it's husband and wife or family. But now you're spending $350 a month, but you, depending on the type of plan you either have a $2,000 individual deductible, or you have a $4,000 family deductible before the insurance kicks in. So it's an individual, if you got a $2,000 deductible, that's $170 a month, okay, on top of $350. Now you're paying $520, okay? So let's assume you're not making gazillions, not making megabucks. So you have a Part B expense, $175 a month, and reasonably healthy, you get a zero premium deductible. So I've been out of school a long time, but when I went to school, you know, I'm serious, when I went to school, $175, you know, was less than $5.25 or $5.50.
Yeah.
So they can save money, but there's a mindset around that says if it sounds too good to be true, it can't be true. But in certain situations where the employer plan has got high deductibles and it costs them a lot of money and they can fit with a Medicare plan, they're better off there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's another thing I do is when you're dealing with employers, and this is another quirk of the world, with employer group health plans, Medicare is divided into two worlds. World one is small group insurance, which means the employer has 19 or fewer employees. If the employer's got 19 or fewer employees, Medicare is primary insurance. The group insurance is secondary. Now, employers can kick an employee off the group health plan for 19 or fewer and force them to go on to Medicare.
Oh.
Right now, there's only one insurer in Massachusetts that, excuse me, that enforces that rule. On the other side, large group is 20 or more employees. The group health insurance is primary, Medicare is secondary, and they can't kick you off the plan.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another learning process these people have to go to with all this stuff having to do with
Right.
Medicare.
All these moving parts, and then
What are all these rules?
Who's primary,
Right.
who's secondary,
Yeah.
who's on first, who's on...
No, what's on second?
Yeah, and you're right. A lot of people today aren't retiring at 65. They're working right through in their 70s.
Right.
So they're probably on a group plan where they work,
Yeah.
but they still need to look at Medicare.
Well, if it's a small group, 19 or fewer employees, the employer can say we're not going to, the employer can push them off on the Medicare, therefore the employer pays less money.
Right.
Now, 20 or more, you can't do that. You can't force employees to go on to Medicare. You can't bribe them to, to go on to Medicare. So how do we work that around? Well, I provide a workshop for them that shows their potentially retiring employees how to transition to Medicare. And all I'm doing is providing them information. And a lot of them, the light will go on, ding dong, you know, and they might come back to me afterwards to discuss more about this for themselves. But I haven't enticed them off the plan. I'm just explaining what's out there and what's available.
But they also need to know that Medicare isn't a covering 100% of your insurance needs. It's a supplemental in a sense.
Yeah, if you only had Part A, let's say you only got Part A, there's a $1,632 deductible when you're hospitalized
Right.
for each benefit period. The benefit period starts when you go into the hospital and ends 60 days after you're out. So it is conceivable though, that a person could, with multiple issues separated by 60 days, could have a couple of deductibles of 3. Probably doesn't happen much, but it could be
Right.
there. Now, when you have Part B, which is hospital and outpatient, if all you have is the Part B, for hospital and outpatients costs, you're going to pay 20%. So if you see a lot of doctors and you get a lot of outpatient costs, that could put you under pretty fast. And then the other thing that really, we got to throw some more wood on the fire
Of
here.
course,
There are
Well, we're getting
penalties.
close to the end here, we gotta
Oh.
be careful.
yeah.
There are penalties. If you don't sign up when you're first eligible, first
Oh.
eligible means 3 months before you're 65, the month you're at 65, and 3 months after you're 65. If you don't sign up then, you would be subject to penalties if you sign up later, unless you've been covered by a group health plan.
Okay, that's key.
All right?
This is also,
It
'Cause
is, yeah.
there's so much to it.
Yeah, because when you leave the group health plan, that opens up a special enrollment period. You got 60 days to get onto something without having a penalty. Now, there's a Part A penalty, which is nothing. I mean, it's if you're getting it for free, it doesn't matter whether it's a 10% penalty or 50% or 1,000%, it's still free. But Part B, there's a 10% penalty for every 12 months you were without Part B for the rest of your life. So I had a couple that recently, they're both 69, 70, let's call it 70. They don't have Part B. So now they apply for Part B, and they get hit with a penalty of the first 12 months doesn't matter, but then there's first 12 months, but the second 4 years. So they're going to pay a 40% penalty for the rest of their life.
Oh, boy.
That's a lot.
Yeah,
Yes, so in other words, if someone's turning 65 this year, 24,
yeah.
they should be talking to you.
I wish I was turning 65 this year.
Yeah, same with me.
Talking to you?
Yeah. But they really should be talking to you about Medicare.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they get the right program and they do it right.
Well, the senior centers also have shine counselors. It
Right.
means serving the health insurance needs of everyone. And they help people with Medicare too. Generally speaking, you got to meet them in the office on their schedule, on their time, whereas I'm available 24/7.
Right.
But don't call me at 3 o'clock in the morning because I won't answer the phone. So I've been called a shine counselor on steroids.
That's perfect.
The steroids developed because I've got 45 years of group health insurance. So if somebody's trying to decide whether or not Medicare is a better shot for them than group health insurance, just give me a copy of the benefits. And I can look in 10 seconds, I know instantaneous, but I can know what to look for. This thing is winding down,
We
so
are
Yeah.
winding down.
so
Yes. Thanks, Russ, for
Okay, but
joining
quickly,
us.
how to get a hold of you, Russ?
Oh, yes.
go to MedicareRuss.com.
Here you go.
Pretty easy.
Yeah.